Cool, man.
That is so jacket.
Thanks, man.
And the hat as well.
You know what,
Hats, yeah.
dude, you know what's cool? It's I always tell kids, I go, why would you want to stand back when you can stand out, man? Make a statement. Be like, this is who I am. Take it or leave it, you bastards.
So there you go.
Good.
Do you want me to look anywhere in particular, or does it matter?
Just, I guess, when well, no, it doesn't matter to you. But no, it's just,
So I'll look over there. At the camera or
the
you?
camera, yeah, or just over my shoulder.
Okay, cool. That's good.
Do you guys want to start with your Animaniacs stuff?
Whatever you want, dude.
Yeah, I'll go first then.
Sure.
Like, I just want to say, and I've already said this, and it's really embarrassing. I just think you're such a great guy. And
Thanks, man.
Motivation. Not that I've ever thought you'd be a bad guy, though, or anyone else is a bad guy, but like I've watched your interviews, and I watched like the when you do your uplifting stories and things like that. And
Thank
you.
you.
Talked about the woman who eventually left her husband. You talked about
You saw that.
analogy. It's just awesome.
Thanks, man. That's very kind. I really appreciate you saying. That's a huge part, man, of why I like doing these things. It's because, there's a lot of people out there who kind of get kicked by the world and by society. Sometimes maybe they're not accepted. Maybe they're not as universally approved of as other people. So when you have a chance to be cool to those people and be kind to those people, no matter who you are, you should take it, because you never know the difference that you're making. And the fact that for whatever reason I have this platform of being associated with things that people liked or like, it gives me a chance to, to like get with them and identify with them for a minute, and maybe encourage them a little bit. So I love that you saw that story. I have a bunch more of those stories that are great, and that's my favorite thing about doing these things. That's why I tell people they can come to my table and say hi. I don't even care if they buy anything, because it's more about that.
Yeah, it's just absolutely is incredible.
Thanks, man. That's very nice of you.
It's one of those things where you sit there as a Scotsman, you go.
Oh, dude, that's cool, man. I love you. You're a good man, dude.
It's just one of those things. It's good to see people being nice in this world when things are so like.
Yeah, we live in a very divisive time, you know.
That's exactly where I was sort of going to come from with my question. If you don't mind, I know I'm
Anything.
jumping away, but
Not a bit.
I'm so looking forward to Animaniacs come back. I mean, I was
Thanks,
like
man.
16 when it came out, and I shouldn't have been watching it, but there's so many satirical and subversive things that a kid would never get.
You're exactly right.
And the world's changed, and I was just saying to the rest of the guys here that, like Scottish television, they were talking about a pianist the other day there, and they say pianist.
Yeah.
And things like, oh, come on.
Right, no.
But,
I'm a pianist. You know what? I'm a pianist. Good night, everybody. Dude, it's great stuff. I'm a pianist.
all that humour. And what kind of I was thinking was, it's 2020, we've gone through the whole wardrobe malfunctions and all these.
Yeah.
We've gone quite, almost really conservative in television now, over here as well as in America. And I was just wondering, do you think that Animaniacs is going to be able to, still be what it was back then, or do you think that network interference or fear of upsetting people and things like that will impact on how the show runs? There's so much more material for it to use as well now.
Dude, completely. When you think about the fact that when the show came about all those years ago, 25 years ago, there was no social media. There was really no internet. There was none of this stuff. And basically, as you said, two of my favorite words to describe Animaniacs are satirical and subversive. So what I can tell you without any fear of recrimination is that the show will be everything that you wanted it to be and more. And now the breeding ground for that is even greater, because we have so much phenomena and cultural stuff that's gone on that's like, what the hell is happening? And we're going to hit all of that. Like in the very first episode script of the new thing, there were like 4 things. I'm like, oh, we're back. Yeah, this is definitely like we are just as sharp-toothed as we used to be. And the cool thing, too, is when you do reboot something that people loved, you got to be careful to give them what they loved. And like changing that and numbing that down or dumbing that down would change the whole nature of the show. And the show's going to be on Hulu. And I think part of the big reason that they fought for it and that they wanted it is because of that, because it's a cartoon that will get people talking. It's not just kid jokes or, poop jokes or whatever. It's funny stuff that you're going to be like, I can't believe they just did that. And they put it in a song, or whatever. So yeah, it's going to be all that stuff and more.
Fantastic. I'm looking forward to it.
Thank you, man.
They're going to be I'll be able to sit with them and watch the jokes that they don't.
Yeah, isn't that great?
Yeah, I love that.
And then then their kids will watch the reruns of this, and but it's like we won't let you down, I promise.
Cool.
Yeah.
Brilliant.
Thanks,
Brilliant.
brother.
Um,
Great question.
what I want to talk about, not really the voice acting stuff.
Sure.
First off, comic book the movie.
Oh my God, comic! You're the guy that saw that? All right, cool, man.
I've got the DVD.
It's pretty funny, right?
How did that come about? Was that just from meeting people at cons and being at cons, or how did that?
Comic Book the Movie is this very obscure, very kind of niche cult film about Comic Cons, as you know, right? And what happened was, I just hang out and things happen to me all the time. Like I end up in situations and in places that I'm like, how did this happen? And what happened was Mark Hamill, who's a great guy, a very talented actor, as you know, and a talented voice actor on top of that, which is, they're two separate skill sets, because acting is great and voice acting is great, but being able to do one doesn't necessarily mean that you'll do the other. Mark can do both. But Mark, the funny thing about him is he's the ultimate comic book nerd. He'll tell you that. Like when I first met Mark, the first time I ever met him, I was so excited. I'm like, oh my gosh, Luke Skywalker. And we're working together. And I went over to him in the lunchroom and I go, hey man, I'm Jess. It's nice to meet you. He goes, yeah, I love your work. This is how he talks. It is. It's exactly how he sounds these days. I don't know why. He smokes a lot of gas, but he talks like this. And he goes, I go, so dude, Star Wars. He goes, I don't want to talk about Star Wars, but did you know that the original Superman had no shield around the S? And he starts going on about all this comic book stuff. And I'm like, and he went on for like an hour and a half, and I'm just like, this guy's crazy, dude. So a little while later, he's like, I'm gonna make this movie about the comic book fandom and Comic Cons. I want you to be in it. And I go, what's the script? He goes, there's no script, it's improv. I go, okay, I can do that, because I can make up stuff all the time. So we filmed this movie, basically, as you said, set in the world of Comic Cons. If you like Comic Cons, it's definitely worth seeing because it's your world. But I remember my favorite moment from that whole movie was we did this thing where we went up to the Playboy Mansion to shoot a scene with Hugh Hefner. And it was me and Hamill, and just me and Hamill and like the film crew. And I was supposed to be the cameraman. So I'm filming Hamill and Hugh Hefner while the camera crew's filming me, filming Hugh Hefner and Hamill. And it was all improv. And Hefner comes in and Mark goes, oh my God, Mark's playing this character. And he goes, Mark, Hefner, it's so good to see you. I'm Don Swan. This is my cameraman, Ricky. And Hefner goes, hey, good to meet you. And this is all on camera. And he reaches out to shake my hand. And I look at him and I'm like, because I'm me, and I shake his hand, and it's Hugh Hefner, and the camera stayed on me, and Mark and Hefner start talking, and as the camera was on me, I went like this. I'm looking at my hand that he shook, and I went like that, right. And Hefner, dude, just starts busting out laughing, right? And he's like just cracking up. So we had to stop the take, right? And he goes, that was really funny. I go, yeah, cool, dude. So he goes, okay, do it again. Hef, don't laugh. When he does it, don't laugh. So Hefner didn't laugh. So we did it again. And after the scene was over, Hefner goes, you're funny. I go, thanks, man. He goes, I'm going to put you on the guest list for all the parties. And I go, that's a great idea. So next thing you know, I was going on, because I always tell people too, it's like when I have an impulse to do something, I generally just do it. I don't ever want to hurt anybody's feelings, as we talked about. I always try to be nice, but I say what I think, and I think what I say, and I do stuff. And more often than not, it works out. So that's a true story from Comic Book the Movie.
Excellent.
That's cool. Yeah.
And the other thing I really wanted to talk about was Rock Sugar.
Oh, thank you, man. You know about Rock Sugar?
Yeah, I was there in 2010 at Download.
Were you really?
Yep.
Was that the first one or the second one? Was
the
that
first one?
The first one.
And we had a queue outside the tent to get in.
Oh.
There was a queue outside, and it was jam-packed.
Thanks, man. Yeah, it was jam-packed, and they had us back the following year, too. For those who don't know, Rock Sugar is a rock band that I started with my best friend several years ago, and we started as a joke. The way it happened is we were sitting on an island watching the sunset, and I said to my best friend, I go, be really good. This is my mind. He goes, what? I said, it'd be cool if there was an 80s hair metal band like Guns N' Roses, Def Leppard, whatever, and at the end of the 80s, they got shipwrecked on a desert island, and they had nothing to listen to for 20 years but pop records, so they got brainwashed and thought that was metal. Then they got rescued and came back and made a band again. And he's like, well, what would they do? I said, they'd play like a Metallica song, and I'd sing a Journey song over the Metallica song and make a new song, or play AC/DC and I'll sing Madonna. And he's like, how could that work? So that night we took out a guitar, we started putting these things together, right? Our second show was opening for Motley Crue. I mean, it's like the thing just soared and took off huge because people know all these songs, but they never heard them this way. Yeah, and that type of arrangement. And you saw the show? Yeah. So did it make you happy? Exactly, right? Because what's cool is even if it sucked, it would still be fun, but it doesn't suck. It's good. In fact, it was so good. I don't know if you heard about this, but we got sued by a singer that I imitate, because I imitate all these singers. And I guess I imitated him a little bit too closely, and he heard it, and he thought it was him. So he sued us for sampling his voice. It's all true. Took us to court. We won the case, but the injunction prevents us from selling the CDs online.
Yes.
Right. So the CDs, if you can find them online, are like $500.
You can.
It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
But I sell them at my table at the cons, for like 25 pounds. I'll sell them downstairs, man. Yeah, come down and grab one. And I sign them, right? Which is also good. But I also am like, screw that guy, because we can't sell them online, but we're going to sell them everywhere else we can. And people love it. And now we're making a new one, dude. Yeah, and the second one, you're going to like it even better, because the first one was all 80s mashup. It's like, putting Madonna, AC/DC, Metallica with Journey, Paula Abdul with Kiss, whatever it was. Well, the new one, we're doing contemporary pop artists with 80s metal. So we're putting like Adele with Motley Crue, and dude, it works freaking. It's seriously, it's easily as good as the first one. And I'm not just saying that because I'm not the kind of person that thinks everything I do is great. I mean, I try to do my best job, but this thing, the Rock Sugar thing, so good. So if I wasn't in it, I'd be like, dude, I love this band.
It's fantastic.
Thanks, man.
I'm so psyched that I can actually get it.
Yeah, come see me, man.
Like you say, like online, it's gold dust. They're so hard to get one, and like you say, when you do see one, it's
like $500.
$500,
It's crazy, and it's just because of that lawsuit. That's why it's so expensive.
I didn't know about that.
Yeah, man. So what I always tell people is buy 3, sell them for $500, dude. Join, because I can't do it. I don't want to do it. But if other people do it, I'm like, dude, make the money, man. Screw that guy, whatever. Anyhow, so it's cool. But I love that you know about it, man. Thank you.
Oh, loved it. I'd heard the album before. I went to download, and specifically on that lineup, Rock Sugar with the band, I was like, I need to go and see how they are live. Can they cut the mustard?
Did we live up to it?
Yeah, I mean, like, I wouldn't queue outside a tent, for like any band.
Thanks, man.
That was something else.
Thanks, dude. We work hard on it, and that's the thing too. You hear it, you hear the idea of it. People once asked me, they said, I love your band because the record got great reviews, as you probably know, and I'd love to know how you heard about it. I'll tell me in a second. But what's funny is they'll go, is it cool that like I was laughing? And I go, yeah, dude, it's freaking great if you're laughing, because Madonna and AC/DC should not go together, but they do. Yeah. But what's really great is I said to them, after you got done laughing, were you like, oh my God, this is cool? And they're like, yeah. I mean, and you don't know what it's like. We did the second stage of Download. There were like, 50,000 people in front of us. And looking down and seeing all these tough looking biker dudes singing Madonna songs, going like this, singing Madonna's words, was just like, this is unbelievable. And Journey and all these other like soft rock bands, and they're just headbanging, and you're like, this is crazy, dude. But how did you become aware of the band? And all those people, how did they know about it? Because we didn't expect that turnout.
We're going back now, but it was MySpace.
Yeah, MySpace.
There was a MySpace page for Rock Sugar.
Yeah.
And I had
clips and stuff.
I think there was like 3 or 4 full tracks.
Yeah.
And then there was like snippets of all the other ones, so that like the flavour was there. People knew kind of what they were going to get. And then obviously go and see them live. And
dude, that's great, man. I really appreciate you telling me about that. Thank you.
Got any plans to kind of tour them?
Yeah, next year.
Yeah.
Next year we might even be back here.
Oh, fantastic.
Yeah, because the new stuff. I mean, I didn't even want to tell you what we're putting it with, but like we're really excited because the encore now, we've always encored with a song called We Will Kickstart Your Rhapsody, which is We Will Rock You with Kickstart My Heart and Bohemian Rhapsody all put together. Wow. But our new encore, I'm not going to tell you what song it is, but let's just say the lights are going to go out before the encore, and the searchlights are going to be going around like this, concert style, and you're just going to hear but you're going to freak out on what we put it with because you're not going to expect it. And it works freaking amazing.
Awesome.
Yeah, man.